Welcome to the Monday show, number 4. Today's a little bit different. Not even gonna lie. Just a bit. I normally get nervous before I stream. Like, I'm still new to it, and I genuinely, it feels like the most vulnerable, most vulnerable form of media. And today I am getting really vulnerable about a really controversial topic. I mean, look at what's behind me. But in my mind, it's too black and white to not bring to light. I know this is usually a music show, but unfortunately, for the first hour or so, we're not going to be talking about music. Some things more important actually happened this weekend, and I feel like it needs to be brought to the attention of those who are uninformed. For those who do not know, if you've been living under a rock, you've somehow not seen, ICE killed an innocent man in Minneapolis this weekend. That is the second time they've killed someone this year. It was an innocent bystander the first time in Renee Good, and it was an innocent bystander the second time in Alex Preddy. This cannot stand. This cannot stand. And the reason I'm talking about this is because it's come to my attention that people just did not know this was the plan all along. I have a list of names here that I will address later, but they apparently did not know somehow that this was the plan all along from this administration. And I feel, as someone who is informed, in a position where I have a micro platform to at least try and speak up and at least try and even educate some people as to what the hell is going on right now. Okay? So, let's start with this. So over the weekend, obviously, we have this situation in Minneapolis. I'm not going to show any video because it just, I have one video, but it's really tame. I don't want to trigger anybody, but I want you guys to take in this information. So, it starts off, this first video comes out from across the street inside a building. I don't know what building it is, but there's clearly a window out, and you can see the street, and you can see literally what happens. An ICE agent goes to pushes a female protester. That female protester is recording, as is her right. There's very clearly multiple protesters, or not even protesters, just witnesses, and I forget what they're called, but they're blowing whistles as they do to try and just get the ICE agents to leave. Is really their entire goal, is to leave without hurting anybody. The ICE agent pushes one of the bystanders. Alex Preddy comes in her defense. 8 ICE agents tackle him to the ground, de-arm him, and then one ICE agent pulls out his gun and fires 10 shots in his back. It's something you can't... Yeah, counter-protesters, I wouldn't even call them protesters. They're just... I would say neighborhood watch, really. But, again, it's like... That just should not happen. It should not... There was no... Alex was hands down on the ground, pretty much motionless, because there were 6 guys on top of him. There was at no point any risk to any ICE agent's life there. And they decided, you know what? I'm feeling a bit trigger happy. There's other angles of ICE agents down the street starting to clap as soon as he starts firing. Then I want to show you this video because this just The argument afterwards was, oh, he had a gun on him. First, ironically, that's a Second Amendment right. You know, the same right you've been arguing for years upon years upon years. Yeah, he has that right. Never once did he try and pull it out. Not only that, but they de-armed him, and after the fact, you can see ICE agents, as this loads up.
Why are they screaming, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" Because he didn't have one on him when they murdered him.
So, simple enough to me, right? Now, obviously this being the second of these events, let me just make sure that my frames stabilize. Are we good? Okay, we're good. We're good. But yeah, now obviously this being the second of these events, it becomes a pattern. This is no longer one off, two off. This is a pattern. And they're doing it deliberately with zero care. Which means they don't give a shit. They don't give a single shit that this person died. They don't give a single shit that Renee Good died. They don't give a single shit about any of the people they're taking and capturing, the 5-year-olds, the children, the families they're splitting up. They don't give a single shit because they have the power. And thus, I think the reaction so far has been quite scary, for sure. Scary for sure. But necessary? It's getting there. It's getting there. I've seen a lot of people talk about how, especially over the last month, there was a sentiment beforehand with the Trump administration that it could be fixed with an election. It could be fixed democratically. There was no turning point. They had not gone too far yet. But over the last month, whether it be economically or with the ICE situation, they've clearly gone too far now. It's over now. And now people are turning to quite extreme means, but when you're up against the wall with zero backing from any political party, and nobody's there to save you, all you have is the people, and the people need to do something. Now, I'm not here to say what to do. I see a lot of people going very extreme with it, and I still have optimism and hope that there could be other means, such as I've seen a lot of people mentioning the one thing that this administration respects is capital. You've seen it with their negotiations with Canada. You've seen it with their negotiations with the European Union. A labor strike could work. If you could get people on board, that could work. It's a more peaceful means of rebelling. But we also need like people like Olympians and athletes to have voices and speak up against these things, which is why I'm partially doing this, is because I think a lot of Olympians and athletes and people of like stature who have voices are just either quote unquote apolitical, which is bullshit. You might not fuck with politics, but politics will fuck with you. Or they are just simply ignoring the situation or just not speaking up about it or whatever. And to me, that is just so detrimental. Because when you talk about evil and tyranny and fascist regimes throughout history, they need people to be neutral. They need people to be ignorant. They need people to just leave things alone. That's how they gain power. That's partially why they're doing what they're doing, is because they're making the apolitical numb. They're making these killings seem normal. They're making their ideologies and the way of working seem rational to the normal person. And that's just not right. You should be outraged. You should be pissed off. This just should not happen, and this cannot carry on. And the only way to get people educated and start believing that this needs to change is to keep beating it into their fucking heads. It's the only way. It's the only way. Try and strike some compassion in your neighbors. That's the only way. And I sit here as a Canadian doing this because quite literally it's our neighbors, right? I mean, who knows what could happen? I don't think it will get this far, but it very well could be that Trump decides we really do want to annex Canada. You've seen the threats on Greenland more prominently, but I mean, it's very clear he wants the northern hemisphere to himself. We're there, right? And especially the Canadian political spectrum is very different. I am very glad that we have the leader we do, who is actually willing to fight him, and not only fight him, but stand against him on a global stage like Mark Carney did earlier this month. I'm not saying Carney's perfect either. I think there's a lot of things wrong with both leaders of the two main parties in Canada, but we're at a slightly better position we are than if we had fucking PP. Let's be real. But for those, the reason I'm doing this on my platform is to educate Canadians. Educate Canadians on what's happening and what they could do and what they need to know, okay? So far I've told you, like, this has been going on for about a year now. We're a year into this administration. You also probably should know there is a midterm election this year, which means this year is critical to this entire situation, which is partially why they're ramping up things, because they don't know if they're going to have power in 12 months. They don't know. If they have it their way, they'll have power for 10 years. But right now, they don't know if they're going to have power for the next 12 months. So they're ramping it up, making the middle more numb to it and trying to push people right. So what we need to do is really just tell people about it, right? The first thing you really need to know is this was the plan the entire time. Ever since Donald Trump lost the election in 2020, this has been the plan. And it's ramped up all across social media. From people like Andrew Tate, the rise of Andrew Tate, that's part of it. Maybe not, like, it's not planned, but it's definitely a correlation to now Trump's whole entire campaign was based off one document, and that was called Project 2025. Project 2025 covered pretty much just like not the program, the platform. It was the platform without saying it was the platform. It was the one that all of the right-wing conservative influencers were talking about and kind of sharing around, but it wasn't the one that was made mainstream. It wasn't made available to the public necessarily. Like, you could find it, but it wasn't sent to people's doors and been like, here, this is what we want to do. And that's how they've got it, right? Everyone in power knew this is what was gonna happen, and they fooled the people in the middle who wanted a better economic structure than what was done under Biden, and they saw Trump as potentially the solution. It was change for change's sake, and now change is changing. So again, what can you do as Canadians? You spread the word, you research, you do your own thing, you make your own opinions. I would really recommend just going through and like searching like the history of ICE. I would go through and maybe find, even if it's just one YouTube video about what Project 2025 is or how ICE is operating right now. Like, just go and seek out your own information and really like learn about what's going on and keep yourself educated and knowledgeable enough so that if it ever comes to your doorstep, you know what to do, right? If and when. It's not when, but if it happens to come to your doorstep, you are armed with knowledge. Now, I do have this list, and this is what I call the uneducated and uninspired. I saw this video earlier this week, and I think it really encapsulates a lot of things. So I'm just going to let it play, and then I will speak about the names that are on the board behind me.
School, yes, the same one who posted about Charlie Kirk, just suddenly posts something condemning ICE and the murder of Alex Beretti. Yeah, me too. A lot of people had this experience, and I'm here to help you make sense of it. My name is Liz, and my content focuses on the intersection of politics and social media culture, and the last 36 hours on social media have been wild. And tonight, it feels like a chorus, all singing the same refrain, which is, I don't care what side you're on, this has gone too far, the government is lying to us. Some of us are sitting here like, girl, we've been trying to tell you this for 10 years. And I know that it's infuriating and bewildering, but it's also something else. It's a very, very big deal. I've spent the last 4 years watching exactly how lifestyle influencers and non-political creators move social change. And here's the thing that everybody misses. Culturally influential people shape our permission structures. When enough creators and reality stars and wellness girlies and micro community leaders start talking about something, start having an opinion about something, that's when the Katies from high school start talking about it too. That's what happened with Charlie Kirk, and that's what's happening right now. Like when mega influencer Rachel Parcell, who is extremely Republican coded, posted not just "this is wrong, all lives matter, no one deserves to die," she posted the federal government is lying to you, lying to our faces. And that gave your friend permission to express publicly what she has been feeling since she watched that video yesterday. And instead of asking, where have you been? We need to dissect exactly what's happening here because the Overton window is moving in real time. The story the federal government is telling us is not matching the video footage, and people can see that with their own eyes. Even if you disagree with the premise of the protests, any living, breathing human can see that no, he did not approach the officers. No, he was not brandishing a weapon. In fact, that weapon was taken from him and then shots were fired. And here's what I know about centrists and right-leaners and apolitical people. They do not like being called stupid. And when you blatantly lie to them and it takes them less than 30 seconds to prove that's a lie, it's basically like you're calling them dumb, and it makes them fucking furious. And then it makes them question everything. And that's the moment the mask starts slipping. That's why this quote is spreading like wildfire from people who never post about politics. It's not too late to change your mind. I'm telling you, this psychological permission, people needed it. Now, before you go, this is very important, especially if you're a Democrat. Don't dunk. Don't I told you so. Lean into this. Continue telling your truth and sharing your values, and continue encouraging others to do the same. Social media is the town square. We need them expressing their opinions in this moment because right now our collective voice is starting to sink. And yes, the change will be slow, but we are finally moving in the right direction. Did your apolitical
So, exactly what she said is what we're doing here today. Here, I have a list of names. Some of them, I'm going to turn this overlay off. So, some of them, right, are more responsible than others for what's happening in Minnesota. I know it's hard. I know it's probably hard to see them, but I'm going to say their names, and then I'm gonna comment on why I believe they have a hand. They have blood on their hands. They have blood on their hands. And this is not necessarily a dunking. I'll dunk on some of them. Some of them might be too far gone. This area is a little too far gone. We'll talk about it, okay? So let's go. Let's start with Joe Rogan, okay? Obviously, Joe Rogan's already started to kind of back down, as he usually does. But obviously, Joe Rogan pretty much gave security to all of these people to endorse Donald Trump. He did a 3-hour interview with Donald Trump. He interviewed J.D. Vance. He interviewed Elon Musk. He interviewed everybody under the sun. He's got a lot of blood on his hands, I'm not going to lie. He's got a lot of blood on his hands, and he doesn't even know it. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, because I do actually, appreciate Joe Rogan as a person. I think what he does is, especially in the comedy sphere, I'm a big comedy fan, hence why I have a couple names here. Damn, Tony Hinchcliffe's name's so tiny you can't even see it on camera. That's perfect. But I am a comedy fan, and what he does for comedy is awesome. But you gotta be better. You gotta be fucking better. Andrew Schultz, another guy who started to walk back his statements. Again, we appreciate people condemning it. We need more of that. Keep that same energy. Start helping out. Start helping out. If you feel that you are guilty in any way, and objectively, I think most of these people have some sort of guilt in this, condemn it. Condemn it. Keep condemning it. Start showing up to protests. Start talking about it. Joe Rogan, I unfortunately think is on payroll. Andrew Schultz, I think there's more chance for him. There's more chance for him. Let's see here. Theo Von is much like Andrew Schultz. I think there's better chance for him. I think he's a little bit more on payroll, though. I don't know. So who knows? Damn, bro, I really got Kyle Forgard and Overtime Megan in the same spot. That's kind of a miracle. But look how stupid you look. Look how stupid you look. With your City Connect fucking MAGA hat. Head ass. Now you're with your ex who cheated on you in Australia. You fucking dumbass. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Don't believe the propaganda. Bro, that speech in the hat, bro, when Mandani was elected, brother, oh my goodness. You are the face of propaganda, Megan. And it's okay. It's okay. You trusted the system that should be working for you. It should be, but it's not. This motherfucker right here. This motherfucker. Punch a happy dad in the face today. Punch a happy dad in the face today. Fuck happy dad. I see that living in a town with the bro. There's a bar. It's okay. We don't need to get into that. But I mean, he interviewed Netanyahu. He interviewed Bibi Netanyahu. He's evil, evil capitalist. There's no saving this man. There's no saving Kyle or Nelk. Bradley. I mean, he did platform Nick Fuentes, so, But, speaking of platforming, let's talk about this section here. We have one ex-impulsive host and the 2 actual impulsive hosts. We got Logan, Mike, and George. With George, I feel compassion. Because I do genuinely believe he has the right morals. I think he's trying to see through love and show love first, but I think he's just gone down the wrong path and again, what happened to Charlie Kirk is just as bad as what has happened with the ICE killings over the last month. Nobody should be getting shot to death, okay? Plain and simple. But the problem with George Janko and why he's on this list is platforming people like Charlie Kirk and Jeff Dye, and Jordan Peterson, and all these people, is their rhetoric is what has caused this to happen. The rhetoric of his guests are a lot of the reason that we're in this place now. And that's why I also have Mike Malak. Mike Malak claims to be the apolitical, nuanced take motherfucker, right? And he has also condemned the killing of Alex Preddy, so I do appreciate that. But once again, fucking show a spine, bro. Have a fucking spine. Like, we cannot platform and have the current president who is doing all of this on your podcast and then tweet out saying, I feel like I don't have to say it, or I feel like I don't need to condemn any of it because I think it's obvious. That's what he said about the Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, Hail Hitler shit. Like, of course you need to say that because you platform them. You platform them. Of course you need to condemn it. Your name is on the line. And that comes with, like Logan Paul, bro. Logan Paul. He hasn't even said shit. Because he's on payroll. That's all Logan Paul cares about is his capital. Is his money. It's just... It's sad. It's sad. It's just so sad. Like in Ross Sneeko XQC, listen, if you have a brain, you don't listen to these people. But unfortunately, it seems like a lot of people do. Nick Shirley's name's in all caps because it feels ableist to shit on him. But, his video about the fraud in Minnesota is the direct door opener to everything that's happening in Minneapolis right now. Jake Paul, how's your peace president going, buddy? How's the peace president? The president of no wars, starting no wars? The peace president. I think he's starting a civil war there, buddy. It's unfortunate. Nick Merckx. My biggest flex is I got blocked by Nick Merckx on Twitter at one point. Dave Portnoy. Damn, bro. But yeah. Listen. That really is the biggest flex. Yeah. No, it's hard to actually process how much the uneducated and the uninspired listen to all of these names and all of these voices telling them that, oh, Trump's just, you would love to have a beer with Trump, is essentially their entire plot point. Their entire reasoning for voting for Trump was because he was a real guy or whatever. And now he's coming to your city, knocking down doors and kidnapping people and killing innocent civilians. How about that? You fucking idiots. But yes, I'm willing to call these people idiots because they are. They put their names on the line, and thus they deserve to be shamed. That being said, your friends, your family, try and reason with them. The more people that you can reason with, the better. get them on your side, and I think the world will be a better place. Hopefully. Fuck me, man.